Kunja Bihari Jaya. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya.
Logo?
Normal. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading from Shrimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter 23, Devahuti's lamentation, verses 42. Kim durpadanam tesham Kim durapadanam tesham Pumsam udam cetasam Pumsam udama cetasam. Yaira shritas tirtha padash. Yaira shritas tirtha padash. Charano vyasanatyaya. Charano vyasanatyaya. Kim durpadanam tesham. Pumsam udama cetasam. Yaira shritas tirtha padash. Charano vyasanatyaya. Kim durapadam tesham. Pumsam udama cetasam. Kim durapadam tejam. Kim durapadam tejam. Pumsam udama cetasam. Samudama cetasam. Ladies. Kim durapadanam desham. Samudama cetasam. Kindurapadam tesham. Pumsam udama cetasam. Yaya shritas tirtha padash. Charano vyasanatyaya. Kim durapadam tesham. Pumsam udama cetasam. Kim, what? Durpadanam, difficult to achieve. Tesham, for those. Pumsam, men. Udama cetasam, who are determined. Yaihi, by whom? Ashritaha, taken refuge. Tirthapadaha, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Charanaha, feet. Vyasanatyayaha, which vanquish dangers. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. What is the difficult to achieve for determined men who have taken refuge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's lotus feet? His feet are the source of sacred rivers like the Ganges, which put an end to the dangers of mundane life. Purport. The words Yair Ashritaha Tirthapadash Charana are significant here. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Tirthapada. The Ganges is called a sacred river because it emanates from the toe of Vishnu. The Ganges is meant to eradicate all the material distresses of the conditioned souls. For any living entity, therefore, who has taken shelter of the holy lotus feet of the Lord, nothing is impossible. Kardama Muni is special not because he was a great mystic, but because he was a great devotee. Therefore, it is said here that for a great devotee like Kardama Muni, nothing is impossible. Although yogis can perform wonderful feats, as Kardama has already displayed, Kardama was more than a yogi, because he was a great devotee of the Lord. Therefore, he was more glorious than an ordinary yogi. As it is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, out of the many yogis, he who is a devotee of the Lord is first class. For a person like Kardama Muni, there is no question of being conditioned. He was already a liberated soul, and better than the demigods, who are all conditioned. Although he was enjoying with his wife and many other women, he was above material conditioned life. Therefore, the word vyasanayatyaha is used to indicate that he was beyond the position of a conditioned soul. He was transcendental to all material limitations. Om Gyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militamena Tasmai Shri Guru Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Shnavebhyo Namo Namaha Kim Durapadanam Tesham Pumsam Udamachetasam Yairashritas Tirtha Padash Charano Vyasanatyayaha. What is difficult to achieve for determined men who have taken refuge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's lotus feet? His feet are the source of sacred rivers like the Ganges, which put an end to the dangers of mundane life. So this chapter is called Devahuti's Lamentation, and it is described in this chapter how Kardama Muni and Devahuti enjoyed. So I want to speak a little bit about enjoyment and so-called enjoyment, because enjoyment in this material world is relative, you can say. What is enjoyable for one person, it is not enjoyable for another. Krishna says that what is the night for the introspective sage, it is day for materialistic person, and what is day for introspective sage, it is night for a materialistic person. And this is the fact. I remember when I started to associate with devotees in my hometown, and then I was studying, and I used to go to temple for Mangalarati. I used to wake up very, very early just to get association with devotees. And when I was going Sunday morning, then I would see these drunk people returning from Saturday night. So this is, if you think about it, this what young people nowadays consider enjoyment. That this Saturday night's fever, this movie, John Travolta. Let's go out, let's drink, let's dance, and let's have fun. So this is what is considered enjoyment nowadays. And I used to also watch football on TV, and when I watched football, I would have a beer or something, and then this was some kind of enjoyment for me, because when I was studying, and then during the week you have to study, you have to go to classes, but then it's a nice football match one evening, and then I was meditating during the day. I would come home, I would watch nice football and then I would drink a beer, and this was my point, my realization of enjoyment on that time. But nowadays, if you make me do it, if you put me in front of television, and that I have to watch some football, and you give me a beer, and it would be suffering for me, because there are 20 dudes, they are chasing one ball, and if I try beer now after so many years, I think it would taste awful, and it is acquired taste. What it said. Just remember this intoxication. If some of you did that, and I believe most of you did some intoxication. And I remember when I first tried beer, and normally my father gave me this, and I was small, and it was so bitter, it was awful. It was awful for me. Also coffee, or a cigarette when you try it for the first time. It's awful. It's disgusting. So that's why it is said it is acquired taste. After some time you do it because everybody is doing it, and then you acquire some taste, and then you think, when I drink this beer, it is very good, but actually it is acquired taste. It is not good. Our body from early age, it is giving us signals that this is not good for your body. It is bitter. It don't taste good. You should not enjoy. So in that way, the enjoyment is quite relative, because if you think about it, in this chapter it is described that Kardamamuni and Devahuti enjoyed sex life. But what is the result of that sex life? The result is that they had 10 children. They had 9 daughters and 1 son. But nowadays, people want to enjoy sex life without any responsibility. And everything is going around about a sex life. Everything is, we are so much bombarded and by the promise that you will enjoy sex life. I remember in Croatia, in my country, there was one commercial, one big, how you say, jumbo plakat. You put like big plakats. And there was one half-naked lady, and by her side it was tires for cars, like winter tires, I just could not. It was amazing. So nowadays they are trying to sell tires for the car, and they're giving you this half-naked woman beside it, and it's nonsense if you think about it. But anyway, but Kardamamuni, he said to Devahuti, when we had a child, then I will go. And in Vedic culture, it was supposed to be that husband takes care of wife, and also then that goes to son. Son then takes care of the mother, and in that way, Kardamamuni he fulfilled, so to say, his promise, and he gave Devahuti a son. And in that way, he renounced family life, and he went to meditate, to get involved in spiritual life. And we see in third canto in fourth canto it is described that there was a King Anga there, and he could not have children. So usually when kings don't have a children, they perform some yagyas, and King Anga did like that. He performed some yagyas, and then he received sweet rice from the sages, and they told him, give this to your wife, and then you will have a child. So King Anga fed his wife with sweet rice, and soon after they got a child. It was Vena Maharaj, and it is described that Anga's wife was in this family of dynasty of irreligion, and that Vena's mother, she was actually his father from Vena's mother. His grandfather was death personified, and King Vena acquired by karma this nasty, you say, nasty character, nasty that he killed deers in a forest, and he would also kill other children when he played with them, and everybody was afraid when Vena was coming. Everybody in a town, in a village, told Vena is coming, and they would all run away. He was very, very cruel, because he got born in this dynasty. So we can see that in this example, in what modern psychologists are saying, they are always arguing what percent is nature and what percent is nurture, meaning what percentage do we receive through the genes, and what percent is there through our upbringing. And we see in this context that Vena was very cruel, and Anga tried in every way to rectify Vena. He tried in every way, but he could not do it. Just this karma, this what he acquired from previous life, from his family members, it was just too strong, and he was acting very very cruel and very merciful. And then Anga was lamenting, and he was thinking, and King Anga told that actually this is even better for me, this situation. We can see how advanced devotees, advanced souls think about it. And King Anga was thinking, if I have a nice son, then I would become so much attached to this family life. Maybe this is the mercy of the Lord, that I have a rascal son. So now I can easily renounce. Anga was thinking like that, because his son was not dear to him, because he did so much these nonsense things. He was killing other children. He was very cruel, and Anga immediately understood, I can go now to the forest, and he did it. Just one night he packed his bags, so to say, and he went to the forest. And then kingdom was without the king, and sages got very concerned about this situation, because kingdom must have a king, otherwise many thieves and rascals and murderers, criminals would prosper. And they decided that there is no other way, we have to coronate Vena, we have to make him a king. There is no other way. So they made Vena a king, but Vena, because of his karma, because of his low character, so to say, he wanted that sages and holy persons stop worshipping the Lord, that they stop doing yagyas. And he forbade in his country that you should not do yagyas, you should not follow spiritual principles, and you should worship me. Why you worship some demigods? Why you worship Lord Vishnu? You should worship me. And in that way, Vena got these sages for their enemies, and they got together and they decided that Vena must go. This is this is not acceptable. But in one last effort, they tried to speak to him. They told him, please, reinstate yagyas, rectify yourself, do spiritual activities, do what is according to Dharma. But he could not listen. He just told them it was not possible. And in that way, sages killed Vena only with their mantras. And when they kill them, they start to churn his body so they could get they could get a king. And in that way, first by churning the lower parts from Vena, one Nishada king got born, so to say. He was like a dwarf, and he was very, very blackish. And from this Nishada race came forward. He is the father of Nishada race. And he actually took these sinful reactions from Vena's body on himself. And that's why this Nishada race, they are like thieves, and they are hunters, and they this very low activities. And then sages told this to Nishada king: just go in the mountains, go in the forest. You can preside there. This is your place. And then they again churned the body of Vena, and then Prithu Maharaj and Atri, his wife, appeared. And we can see in later description that Prithu Maharaj was very pious, and he performed very, very auspicious activities. And in that way, we can see that King Ganga, he got this situation that he got this bad son, so he can easily renounce. But Kardama Muni, he had a supreme personality of Godhead as his son, but still he renounced. And Prabhupada is saying that Kardama Muni, he's higher than the demigods. Prabhupada is giving this example because he was not attached to his family life, to his position, and to his powers. He created this palace only because Devahuti asked him, because Devahuti wanted to enjoy. Otherwise, he would not use his mystic powers in that way. So he was very, very powerful. And we know that when man becomes so powerful that he becomes puffed up, like King Indra, the demigod. We know that there are so many instances where he became puffed up and where he became attached to his position. There was one example when Brihaspati came. Brihaspati, he was the spiritual master of demigods. Because he was a spiritual master, you should always pay obeisances to your spiritual master. You have to always respect your spiritual master. But Indra, he did not do that when Brihaspati appeared there at King Indra's court. And Brihaspati just left. He got offended. And he just left, and he hid himself. He hid somewhere. And because after some time Indra understood that I did mistake. I did not pay the obeisances to my Maharaj, to my Guru. I did not worship him. So in that way he tried to apologize, and he was searching everywhere for his spiritual master, but he could not find him. And in that way, because he did not worship his Guru, there was a situation where the demons Jai Shri Shri Palashmi Deva Bhagavan Ki Jai. There was the situation where the demons got victorious over the demigods, just because of this situation. Because Shukracharya, he was the guru, the spiritual master of demons. The demons started to worship the Shukracharya. They paid obeisances to them, and in that way they become powerful. And Indra, because he offended his guru, the demigods, they became weakened, weak-willed. They were not powerful. And in that way, there was this situation that demons attacked demigods, and they were victorious. They occupied the position of Indra. They occupied the heavenly planets. They kicked out the demigods. And normally, the demigods, they approach Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they ask him what we should do. And he explained, you have to search for another spiritual master. You have to pay the obeisances. And in that way, Supreme Personality of Godhead is teaching us that we have to take instructions. We have to take instructions from our spiritual masters. It is not possible that we will do it our own way, so to say, that we are our own guru. It's not good proposition. I remember when before I joined, I was reading quite a lot this Mayavada philosophy, and I was contaminated by this Mayavada philosophy, and I was reading so much, and it's all these books. When you read it, it's all sentiment. Actually, it's nothing. There are no clear instructions there. It is all Prabhupada said word jugglery. It's just nonsense. If you think about it, just one point I want to discuss in these books. They say you should put the roof on your desires. In other words, you should stop desiring. I read in this book, when I was thinking, oh yes, I will do that. I was to sit and meditate. Don't desire. But it is impossible. It's Prabhupada is teaching us in Bhagavatam. This is impossible task. We are not stones. And I'm reading Suhotra Maharaj's books, this Shadow and Substance and Vedanta Psychology. And Maharaj is giving this a nice seminar lectures. He passed away actually, but we have ISKCON Desire Tree. And in ISKCON Desire Tree you have everything there. From every guru in ISKCON you can find lectures there. And Suhotra Maharaj, he was giving these seminars on only about philosophy of the mind. And he was thinking, and he was writing that you should know your enemy. You should know your mind, because our materialistic mind is our enemy at the moment. We would like that our mind is a friend, but it is an enemy. And in that way, Suhotra Maharaj was saying that we don't desire anything, it is impossible. And Prabhupada also used to say that, because our our mind is guided by desires, and Prabhupada is giving us this nice formula that we should rectify our desires. We should control our flow of our desires, because that is very difficult, because we don't know what our desires are. And a lot of them are subconscious, you can say. A lot of them are coming during the night, or when you are, or also when you are chanting, you can see that you are sometimes your mind is going everywhere. It's like a television. So Prabhupada is saying we have to control the flow of our desires. That means that during the day we have to occupy ourselves with Krishna Katha. We should associate with the devotees, and in that way we can fill up our minds with positive desires. We can fill our mind with thoughts of Krishna, with stories about Krishna, stories about pure devotees, stories about devotees, and in that way we will gradually become purified. I remember when first time I dreamt one devotee, and I was very happy when I woke up. Oh, I was dreaming devotees. I was very happy. Usually when you dream, you are dreaming some nonsense. So we are trying to change that. Because when you meet devotees, when you try to associate with them, then this our taste changes. Like I was saying at the beginning, if we try alcohol now, it would be disgusting, because we don't have taste anymore for this thing. So similarly, we have to also fill our mind with stories of Krishna, and we have to chant our rounds nicely. We have to serve the Lord, and in that way we will become so charged up, so fired up, and we will think only about Krishna and how we can serve devotees, how we can serve the deities, and in that way we will become purified. just as I was reading again this transcendental diary from Hari Shauri Prabhu, and he was a servant of Prabhupada. He served him in later years, from 75 till 76, 1 year, a little bit more than 1 year. And it is interesting when you read books about Prabhupada, how Prabhupada had to teach everything devotees, just from very beginning, these basic principles about cleanliness, about coming to mode of goodness, and he was gradually purifying his disciples. And Hari Shauri, there was one example that, and he was for quite some time in associated with devotees. He was like devotee for 4 years, full time. He was serving, but still, when he became personal servant of Prabhupada, he gave him one instruction, that Prabhupada was eating prasad, and he left his plate that Hari Shauri should wash, but also there was some flowers that should be put on the altar, and Prabhupada gave these 2 instructions to Hari Shauri, and he took immediately the dirty plate and this also clean flowers that should go to the altar, but with different hands normally, And he did not have any conception, but Prabhupada stopped him, and he told him, you should not do this because flowers are going on the altar. You should take this item separately. First come from the plate, then clean it, then come for the flowers. So he's saying just these basic things that he is showing his disciples that we should remain clean. We should remain in a mode of goodness. So when some devotee is approaching us here and said, Prabhu, you are not doing this properly. you should wash your plate first, and we should not become mad or something. We should understand this is actually for my good. This is actually for my purification, that he's rectifying me. But our false ego, he's so big that when somebody is point at our mistakes, that we take it personally. We take it like he's trying to put me down or something like that. No, we should think that he's trying to help me to get purified. In that way, don't become mental. Because Prabhupada, he was teaching his disciples, and some disciples that were humble, their false ego was not so big. Then Prabhupada, to these disciples, Prabhupada, he can give them more. And we know there was example, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he was very close to Prabhupada, and he was a very good manager, and he got very nice association with Prabhupada. But on the other hand, we can see that Prabhupada, it was described, Prabhupada used to smash Tamal Krishna Maharaj like anything in front of everybody. But he could take it. He just blushed, but he would keep quiet, and he could accept this. And in that way, we can take more. And Prabhupada used to see, okay, now. But with some devotees could not just take it, and they just left, or they guys just... They could not see that Prabhupada is doing this for my sake, for my good. There was one instance when Prabhupada used to say that we did not land on the moon, and it was quite controversial theme, because it was just that period that they were going to the moon. And then one his close disciple, I don't remember his name, he could not believe that Prabhupada is saying that, and he brought the television and he said, Prabhupada, look. And it was like live television connection with, now see how they are jumping on the moon. And he tried to say to Prabhupada, no, look, Prabhupada, they are on the moon, we are on the moon. No? But Prabhupada, he did not accept. He said that how they can get to the moon in 4 days. It is impossible. And it is a fact, like Shri Gauranga was saying that on a lecture, even if you go on the moon, you cannot see anything. It is like, it is described in Bhagavatam, it is heavenly planet. But with these eyes, you cannot see it. You cannot see anything. You will see just dust. And this is the fact. When Arjuna was, when Yudhishthira Maharaj, he was performing this Rajasuya sacrifice, and this is the best sacrifice you can perform. And then before you perform this sacrifice, you have to conquer all the kings. All kings must accept you as authority, as a ruler, and only then you can perform the sacrifice. So Yudhishthira Maharaj, he sent his brothers to conquer these kings that did not acknowledge Yudhishthira as king. And anyway, Arjuna, he was going north, and it is described, he went there to Himalaya, and he was going up in the mountains. And then he met one guard was there. He was guarding this kingdom, and he was very huge, and he was very effulgent, and he had a big weapon. And he stopped Arjuna, stop here. And actually they were like northern Kauravas. They were like some kind of family members in this kingdom. But he stopped Arjuna, and he told Arjuna, you cannot go any further. Even if you come to this kingdom, you will not see anything because you don't have eyes. And similarly, in that way, we don't have eyes to see this heavenly planets, this planet. It's not. We are not permitted to see these things, but we see now that these rich fellows, the Bezos and what is his name, Tusk, Musk, Tusk. Now they are developing this. Rockets and they want to they want to Mars now is the Mars, the objective is Mars. We are going to live on a Mars, we are going to colonize Mars, but it's just they are just spending money uselessly. It's useless. You cannot, we are not allowed. Like Ravana, he wanted to build the staircase, he wanted to build the tower to the heavenly planets. But we know how Ravana ended. So in these previous examples, we see that enjoyment is there in this material life, but we know that trying to enjoy material life is useless, and trying to enjoy sex life actually. The highest enjoyment is a sex life in this material world. And Prabhupada is saying that this sex life it is like a drop of water in a desert. And what is if you put a drop of water in a desert, it will just evaporate immediately. So it is similarly that kind of enjoyment. It is just useless. We will never be satisfied enjoying in that kind of enjoyment. That's why we need to occupy ourselves with spiritual life. I would stop here. If there are any questions, maybe. Bhakta Michal. Hare Krishna.
I have not a question, but I want to add something. I was listening to a lecture of Srila Govinda Swami. And he said, if you want to go to America, can you go like this to America?
Yeah.
No, you have to have a visa.
Yeah.
And when you want to go to India, you also have to have a visa.
Yeah.
And when you want to go to the moon, you have to have the permission of the moon god. Otherwise, you cannot go there.
Yeah.
It was also made it very clear this way.
Yeah. Yeah, this is very interesting that we think we will enjoy there. We are going to moon, we are going to Mars, and we will enjoy there. Yeah,
comment to that also, what I say personally is that how they want to go to Mars, but never even been to the moon. I mean, because it was just a fake.
Yeah.
So like this, we need to be careful for ourselves to be honest and not in advancement, not like to think that trying to imitate any holy persons or munis. To say, just make a shortcut and then go to the highest lila or whatever, Like always see where's our level and building up from our level. So,
Yeah.
so we cannot just skip to the highest point if you.
Yeah, there is an example when they were reading only in Chaitanya Charitamrita only these leelas and we are gopis and trying to and Prabhupada was not pleased with that and he stopped it immediately. Yeah, we should know our position. We are very small actually, and we are at the very beginning. Even then, there was one Maharaj told that he was chanting like 40 years, and still, when he almost had an accident with a car, that in India when they were driving like crazy, some truck was going on, and he said, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. He didn't say Hare Krishna. He said Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. And he said, I don't know where this came from. I'm chanting like 40 years. It was like. So we have to acknowledge we are at the very beginning, and our mind is very. So that's it. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
The enemy.
Yeah.
Maybe elaborate a little bit how the mind is an enemy and
Yeah, because Krishna is giving this example to Arjuna that also it can be our friend, but also it can be our enemy. So in that way, we use our mind to get rid of our mind. You can say like that. Our enemy is because it wants enjoyment. It wants to. Prabhupada used to say, our mind is planning to stay here. It wants to stay in material world. And we should, with intelligence, we should differentiate between our desires, because we are guided. Mind is guided by our desires. So we should differentiate between materialistic and spiritual desires, and we should fulfill spiritual desires and trying to neglect material. But of course we have a body and we have our needs, and of course we will fulfill our needs. But we have to be, so to say, intelligent in that way. Like I used when I was giving last time lectures, we used to say these small victories over the mind. Mind wants that you stay in a bed, don't wake up for Mangalarati, and he's telling us, oh, there is always inner dialogue. And then you should always say to mind, okay, just wake up now and you will sleep later. It's like inner dialogue. I promise you, if you go to Mangalarati, then immediately when it's over 5:15, you will be in bed, you're asleep, and then when Mangalarati is over, then let me chant just two rounds, then you can go a little bit sleep, and in that way we, how to say, you like put a carrot in front of your rascal mind, you know. And in that way, Prabhupada was saying that mind is our enemy, because we are not purified yet enough. We don't have that taste. Until we get that taste, then gradually mind becomes our friend. Yeah, Govinda Dev Prabhuji.
Related to this, I was wondering how one could define when the mind becomes a friend. Like, is it like only pure devotees, or because you said gradually now?
Yeah.
So, maybe you can when do we know the mind has become a friend?
I don't know. Maybe you can say on Nishta platform gradually it is becoming like gradually. But still we will have some contaminations. Still we will have some thoughts and some things. But we will see that they will prevail. This good, so to say, good thoughts, good that we want to serve, we want to chant, we want to, and in that way, gradually we acquire this taste for service, taste for chanting, and when this taste comes, then we can, yes, Prabhu.
So maybe the mind is divided in that sense, that it can be both at the same time.
No, because Savotra Maharaj, he's giving this example that our original position is pure, actually pure mind. This above goodness, pure goodness. This is our original position, but we are not covered. So he's saying it is not a question of some battle or something like that. No, we are just our original position is covered. We just need to fight a little bit to uncover this, to so to say, to clean our dirty mind. So yeah.
So maybe can be said that the spiritual mind, because we also have spiritual senses and also spiritual mind.
Yeah.
So only the spiritual mind is the friend, and the material mind is always an enemy.
Yeah. We can say like that. Yeah.
I want to make a comment about seva or tapasya, that you're supposed to do things out of inner peace, and just, that's my realization, just stretching the comfort zone a little bit, but still so that we remain in inner peace, because if you stretch in the comfort zone too much, we will get burned out, actually. And many people, they get burned out and doing Krishna consciousness and things like this. So we see, that's what I'm saying, that we need to see our level, and going from that, and doing that seva or that tapasya, which is suitable for us, But a little bit stretching our comfort zone, because we should also be able and do stretching more and more comfort zone, but not that much to get burnout. So it's
Yeah, this is the eternal pastime of temple commanders. How much service I can give to Bhakta, that he's satisfied in his service, and that I don't fright him, that he packs immediately and goes away. But if you think about it, when you pack your things and go away, it is just your mind is going against you. I used to, for 5 years, my main service was book distribution, and I did not have choice. But actually, I did not want to do this service. I did okay. I was not the best. I was not the worst. I was just in the middle. But I did it because everybody was. It was not no. There was no choice. But it was actually very good for me to do some service I didn't want to do. It was difficult, and people. But it is said in this Sankirtan, you get purified so quickly, and then immediately you can see how mind is working against you. So in that way, there also you are right. We should know how much is our. Yeah.
That's for stretching comfort zone, and that seva is also. I realize, for example, if your nature is some specific kind of dharma, let's say doing tapasya and meditating in the forest, for example, then it's very hard to do this kind of things, even more harder than cooking in the kitchen, for example. But if you have the right mindset and if you have the proper mind, you can do this because it's fulfilling you with joy and it'll give you inner peace. Even if it's very difficult because you maybe have a yogic nature, or if you're Kshatriya, you want to go to the battlefield and fight for Krishna, and because I don't know, many people don't like violence, but if you have nature, you can do it. Like Arjuna did, because like this, it needs to be aligned with our inner dharma also, because it's I don't know what's the name of the Prabhuji, there was one lecture from Prabhuji who told that how you can define your nature. It said, do one thing for 12 hours, and if you don't become crazy and still feeling joyful doing this 12 hours, then it's your dharma, then it's your nature. For example, if you can cook for 12 hours, then it's your nature. If you can distribute books for 12 hours, it's your nature. If you can do bhajans for 12 hours, it's your nature. These kind of things.
Yeah, it's good. It's good that devotees are engaged in that kind of service that they like, that they appreciate, and this is like ideal, the ideal situation. But also sometimes it's good for the mind that we do some service that we don't like. I did not like cleaning toilets, and when temple commandant told me to clean the toilets, I was to I was to go crazy, But sometimes it's good for our mind that we do. But you cannot do it for long, otherwise you will get burnout and you will go away and go into the.
There was Namarasa Prabhu. He had a really interesting interview with Tukaram Prabhu. I don't know if you saw this interview. Tukaram Prabhu, he's the temple president from Laguna Beach in California, and he was asked the same question. So, how should we find our dharma? Should we engage in our own dharma? And he's talking about this topic. And he said, to be honest, I'm very successful. I'm doing so many things because he was very successful. He's at a big temple. He's opening a farm. He's opening restaurants, and he has 6 kids. He's like a very, very amazing personality. Very, very learned. Also doing many lectures. And he said, to be honest, maybe to some percentage, I'm trying to do my dharma, but most of the things I have to do are not my dharma. But I have to do them because they're my duty, and I have to do them because they're necessary. I have to do them because I know it's good for me and for other people.
Yeah.
So he said, if you only try to cozy up to your dharma, you won't accomplish anything.
Yeah.
So that was his personal realization, but it was very interesting because he's a very capable, successful personality, and he said, to some percentage you need to have your own, but the reality is if you really want to accomplish something, you will have to do many, many, many things that are not you're like what you feel most like cozy doing.
Yeah. Okay, we will stop here on this note. Shrimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
judge.